Good. You well?
Very well, yourself?
Yeah, fine, thank you. All right, let's make a start. Tell us about your squad for the match against Aston Villa. You mentioned earlier in the week that Davy Propper had an outside chance of making it. How is he?
Yeah, he's good. He trained with the group today, so we'll see about him for tomorrow training as well. And then obviously we've got some time before the game on Saturday evening, so I think he'll be available. So that's positive for us. Adam Webster will probably take up until the last minute, really. I would say he's doubtful, but I wouldn't rule him out at the moment. But we'll see.
And with Davey, how would you rate his chances? What sort of percentage would you put on it?
I think it'll just depend on how he is. He hasn't had a massive amount of training, so we need to be careful with that. Whether this one comes a little bit too soon in terms of training with the team, football stuff. But I think he's got a chance of making the squad.
Okay, good. Michael Carr-Bonick and Jacob Moder played against Leicester in midweek. What did their performances tell you about, if you like, their readiness for the Premier League?
Well, I think they were a positive for us on the evening because they haven't played for a while. They're just settling in really, and we're getting to know them and them us. But I thought it was a good game for them to go into. I think they acquitted themselves well in the game. I think it's another step up. I think, with the greatest respect to last night in terms of the Premier League. But I think it showed that they're young players with exciting futures, and we're happy to have them with us, and they'll get better the more they're here.
Obviously, it's disappointing to go out of the FA Cup, and particularly the manner in which it happened with a late goal. You said that the team switched off a bit. Is there an important lesson to perhaps learn from it?
Of course, always in defeats and in victories, but more so in defeats because they're a bit more painful. I think, in fairness, that there was a bit of confusion. The boys thought that, I think it was Iheanacho was going to get a ball off the pitch and he wasn't, and then all of a sudden they're turning round and pretty quickly, like I said, with tired minds, the ball's in the back of the net. But a painful lesson for us. And we were sore after the game, absolutely, because we put such a lot into the game. I think you're going to get to extra time. It wasn't to be. We have to do better and move forward. Sure,
and in the league, you have a great record. You're going into this match against Aston Villa having won 3 and drawn 2 of your last 5 in the Premier League.
Yeah, results have been better for us, I think, certainly. Since the turn of the year, we've been in a good moment of form in terms of results, and our performances have taken a little step forward from what they were. I don't think there's been a significant difference in terms of performance. It's just that the results have matched, or they've been more favourable for us. So, as a group, we're in a better place. I think we've taken some steps. I think even last night, I think for the group was a positive one for us. Because, like I said, there were some guys that played. We learned a lot more about the group. So, from that respect, I think it will stand us in good stead going forward. But clearly, we have to start again against a team that's in also a really, really good moment. They've had a fantastic season, Aston Villa, so far. Been really impressed, and we know it's going to be a tough game. We had a really tough, tight game there at Aston Villa, where I thought we were fortunate to win, to be fair. But at the same time, like I said, we know that they're a good team with some tremendous players.
Villa are 10 points above you in the table, having struggled a bit last season. What do you think has made the difference this time round for them?
Well, I think they've recruited very well. They've invested well. They've identified the areas that they needed to strengthen, and I think they've strengthened well. The goalkeeper's come in and made a big difference to them. I think Cash has done well at right back, and then they've added Barkley, Traore and Watkins as a front three that almost takes the pressure off Jack Grealish a little bit, or has allowed him to not be the sole provider, which maybe he was a little bit last year. So they're more of an attacking unit now, with really, really good players on the top end of the pitch that can hurt you in a second. And then they've also had the ability to keep clean sheets. So, credit to Dean and all these guys there. The balance of the team is really good, and they're up there on merit. And like I said, they've had a fantastic season.
Finally, from me, I want to ask you about Jan de Handa at Swansea, a player that you will know well from your time there. He received racist abuse after Swansea's match against Manchester City. I just wondered whether you had been in touch with him at all, whether you were aware of the situation.
No, I haven't. I just saw the headline as I was coming back out of training. Very sad, very disturbing. The one thing I know, though, it won't beat Jan de Handa, that's for sure. He's a strong character. He's a fantastic boy. Sadly, he's probably used to it, which is the world we're in. Sadly, but at the same time, fantastic boy, and whatever people, it shouldn't happen, of course. But I know the boy. It won't affect him. He's a fantastic person.
Graham, thank you. Listen, wish you well. Take care.
Thank you.
Hi there, Graham. Nice to speak to you this afternoon.
Hi.
You kind of touched on a couple of the injuries so far, but has Solly March had his op now, and are there any updates on that since it's happened?
He has had his op, yeah, and it went well. So surgery was really successful, and now he's just on the road to recovery. He's in non-weight bearing for a few weeks, so that's what makes it a bit slow. But couldn't have gone any better. He's just now has to start the process of getting back fit.
So do you think kind of the 12-week schedule that was touched on before is kind of realistic still?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I haven't heard anything significantly different. I'm working off that, give or take a little bit. Obviously, it depends on how he goes over the next stages, but like I said, it couldn't have gone any better for us in terms of how the surgery went.
Okay, fantastic. Given the busy schedule you've just kind of gone through, and with the injuries in consideration, how important do you feel these next couple of weeks, albeit now a little bit quieter, that there'll be some time to focus on recovery and maintaining that balance, but also the level of performance?
Yeah, I think that the way the Premier League is, the way it's been this season, there's always stages that are important. It's like we speak about important times in the season all the time, and that's just how it is. We've been through an important phase because of lots of games, and you can pick up points quickly and you can get into a negative cycle quickly. So it's been good for us in that regard, but yeah, now we're going into a different phase, like you say. We've got, I think, 8 days in between Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. But regardless, we've just got to make sure that we're performing well. However many days we've got in between the games, we haven't used that as an excuse. We've just tried to do our best. We have to do that, until the season finishes.
And looking back a bit to Burnley game, obviously off the back of some really strong wins, and then that proved to have its own challenges in the Burnley match. So what were the guys able to really take from that level of intensity that they can take into Saturday?
Well, I think we just had a really tough week with two impressive wins that came from impressive performances against Tottenham and Liverpool. And then if you could think about any team that can bring you back down to earth, and any venue that can bring you back down to earth in the Premier League, I'd say it's Burnley at Turf Moor. And credit to them, they put us under pressure second half, and we got a good point. And I think it's probably the only time this season where we've got something where we maybe didn't really deserve to get anything, if we're being honest. And that's okay, because I think when we played Burnley at home, we deserved to win. We've played other games where we've deserved to win, but that's the margins of the Premier League. So when it goes your way, you have to be respectful enough and humble enough to go, okay, we'll take that, and we have to move forward. And we're going to face a different challenge at the weekend, and that's ultimately the Premier League. Again, is every game's completely different. Every game's so tough, but every game gives you a chance to win and try to improve.
And final one for me, of course, the defensive form lately has been great, and obviously key to that has been Sanchez and his role that has grown this season. So how important and how impressed are you with him at the moment?
Yeah, I think he's done well. I think he's growing in confidence. He's getting better and better. That's normal when you play more games, I would say. But from the start, we've believed in his potential. We've believed in his attributes. We believed in his what he can do. And the only thing that he's lacking is the time on the pitch and the accumulation of minutes. So I thought he was really good against Burnley. Helped us a lot, not just shot stopping, but also aerially. So yeah, we have to keep working with him, keep helping him, and hopefully he can keep taking steps forward. Thank you.
Graham, we saw Moses Caicedo feature on the bench yesterday. He didn't come on, but is he perhaps ahead of schedule when it comes to his integration and adaptation to life at Brighton?
I wouldn't say so, James. I think he's made a really positive first impression, really good impression. But I think it's still, I don't think that necessarily 2 or 3 days should change too much. I think it was an opportunity to get him with the group, an opportunity for him to experience what we're about on a match day. With the boys, we had a couple that we probably needed to leave behind anyway in terms of just getting over fatigue. So it was a nice time for him to have that experience. But I think he's still, like I said at the start last week, he's a young guy acclimatising to the UK and us and the Premier League and his teammates. So we have to give him that time.
Your last home match was that victory against Spurs, and as you know, there's been a lot that's been made of the home record. How significant would it then be to make it back-to-back wins at home?
Well, it would be nice, just purely because back-to-back wins in the Premier League, whether they're home or away, are hard to come by. So I'm less concerned about things like that. It's more just to try and win the game against Aston Villa. That's all we try to do, and if we can, it'd be fantastic. But like I said, we're playing against a team that are so dangerous, very in a good moment of form, great balance. You know, some high-end top attacking players, and a team that's able to keep clean sheets. So it's not going to be straightforward, that's for sure.
You've now got 15 matches left in your season, all in the Premier League, 10 points clear of the relegation zone. Where do you feel like you're at the moment?
Preparing for Aston Villa. That's where we're at. Preparing to play 3 points against Aston Villa to compete for those. As soon as you start to think about things in a bigger sense, I think you lose track of what you're doing. Concentrate on the next match. Aston Villa, so difficult. So we can only put all our energy into that and try for the 3 points.
Do you feel like you do have the platform though to match and maybe go beyond what you were able to achieve last season, gaining 41 points?
Again, I'm not really thinking about it. I've not given it any thought. The only thing I'm thinking about is to try to perform well against Aston Villa and try to get 3 points against Aston Villa. That's all we can think about. It's all the. So I think just the other stuff would be a bit of a waste of energy, James, to be honest. So just concentrate on the next match.
Thanks, Graham. Good luck.
No worries, thanks.
Graham, I know it was frustrating the other night. Must be particularly frustrating for Christian Walton, but how good is it to see him back after that injury and competing?
Yeah, I think he's had a frustrating time. It happened in pre-season, and he's had a frustrating season. So nice for him to get on the pitch. He's been training with the group and contributing to what we've been doing. There's, like I said, there's before good composition there because we've got Jason, we've got Rob. So they're all different in terms of what they bring, but yeah, it's nice to see. The most important thing is Christian's healthy and he's fit and he's back competing.
In terms of Tariq Lamptey, he's been out for nearly 2 months now, Graham. Has he taken a sort of step back, or is it just one of those things you have to be very, very careful with, the nature of the injury, perhaps?
Well, yeah, he did. He took a step back as he was getting close to coming back. So that's what's the time has been. Just one of those things that we have to try to improve from, and can happen. So now, yeah, we have to err on the side of caution, I would say. I mean, he's making good progress now and he's not too far away, but considering the last couple of months that he's had, we have to be very careful.
Yeah. Just one on Aston Villa. Dean Smith, the job he's done there, keeping them up and now pushing further up the table. A lot of people talk about the attacking players, but what about his defence, Graham? He's got a really good crop of young English defenders there, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's, like I said, they've got a lot of clean sheets. I think they've added a really good goalkeeper. Cash as a right back and Target left back have done well, but Mings and whoever plays alongside him, really good. 2 midfielders ahead of them, solid. So they've got, and then as a team they work hard and they've got an idea about what they're doing when they're defending and attacking. Which again, I think if the balance is right, it means that even if you're attacking well, you're defending well. So the combination of some really, really talented attacking players plus a team that can keep clean sheets is generally a recipe for a good season, and that's what Dean's having. And all credit to him.
Lovely. Cheers, Graham.
Cheers.
Hi Graham, hope it was well with you. I just wanted to ask you about the kind of managers you faced lately. I mean, last weekend you come up against Sean Dyche, Scott Parker was fairly recently as well, and this weekend it's another English manager in Dean Smith. I wondered, do you kind of view yourself alongside those three as a sort of role model for the next generation of English coaches, or do you not really allow yourself to get caught up in that and think about that?
No, I don't really think about it in that way. I just think that we're very fortunate to be in this position. There's 20 jobs, I guess, in the Premier League, and we're fortunate to have one of those. And a lot of coaches around the world would like to swap places. So you have to think that you're very, very fortunate, and with that comes a responsibility. You have to try to do your best and be yourself, and then. But yeah, I've not really thought about how I influence other people. It's just to try to do my best and be me. And I think Dean will do his best and try to be him, and Sean will do his best and try to be him. And we're all different. And I think it's the great thing about coaching is there's not a right way or a wrong way. Everybody's got their own little ways to do things, and we can all learn from each other.
Obviously, it's final one for me. It's such a results business, isn't it? But when obviously, hopefully far away. But when you do retire, is that something you think maybe people will think of? As managers in general, they sit back and think, actually, I did a good job and inspired people rather than always focusing about the result.
Sorry, so can you repeat the question? Sorry.
I wondered if that's more something to think about when you've actually retired, that you've actually influenced the next generation of coaches rather than when you're currently in it, and it's such a results and performance based business.
Yeah, I think I started out this journey and I thought to myself, it wasn't just about football results. It was about making a difference. It was about helping people, the players you're working with, the people that you're working with, and if there's somebody that and not necessarily all good. People can look at your work and think, that's good, or they can look at it and go, no, that's not so good, and I can do it this way, and that's fine as well, because as I've said, football is so great that there's not an absolute right way of doing anything. You've just got to do your best with the ideas that you have, with the resources you have, and then if that promotes thought, if that promotes debate, then that's brilliant. That's how the thing moves forward, and that's how the game it continues to be interesting. I haven't got all the answers, and I don't get everything right. So, but at the same time, yeah, it'd be nice that you've influenced people, because that's what I think life's about as well. Thank you.